do we have here? A little bit of street sauce. Oh, that's my favorite sound. It's full. Hear it? Nice and full. Gotta do that for about a minute. Stir your paint up. You don't want to be spraying out fucking string cheese. That's no good. That's no good for a painting. Want to hear this and that in the empty one? Here, just rattling off the sides. No liquid in between. No lubrication. That's sad. Throw that over there. This particular brand of street sauce, or as you humans like to call it, spray paint, is ironlak. You know, it's like a mid-grade spray paint for art. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I used to use a lot of Rust-Oleum, a lot of Krylon. It's really not great for art. I mean, I know a lot of you old school cats are out there tagging the alleyways and you're like, nah, Rusto for life because it's cheap and easy to get to, but this is a lot better. It's lower pressure. You know, the ingredients inside of it are more geared towards art. So, you know, it doesn't come out of the can as fast as Rust-Oleum does or as fast as Krylon does. It's a lot better finish on it. It's UV protectant. A lot of good things about it. And you ever wonder how they get those clean lines on graffiti? I'm going to help you out. Stick with me for a little while and I'm going to show you how to get those clean lines. No drips. Go side to side. How to move your body. How to control your can. What kind of caps you need. I'll actually show you the differences in spray, because what we've got ourselves here is a little ironlak nozzle set. Yeah, on the back it shows you what sprays are what. You know, we're going to go from smallest to biggest, and I'm going to show you the difference. Also, the difference between spraying black and white spray paint. White's a lot thicker, comes out a lot chunkier, and there tends to be a lot more like graininess around your lines than black. I'll show you the difference between that. I'll show you the difference between an ironlak can and a Rust-Oleum can. Put the camera nice and close so you can see the quality of lines. For like $1, $2 more a can than you would get at your local hardware store, you can have so nice lines. So very nice. I'm going to demonstrate that all for you, so stick with me. I'm Kriztix. I am a muralist, illustrator, graphic designer. I do digital paintings. Basically just a Swiss Army knife of creativity. Well, pretty much since I've been old enough to hold a pencil, I've been doing this creative stuff in pretty much all of my spare time. I've just not stopped, treating it like an Olympic sport. I'm going to events, live painting, vending at art shows. A lot of people really find it impactful, and they find doing it themselves is therapeutic and beneficial to a lot of shit going on in the world. If what I do can bring a little bit of joy and happiness or even a little inspiration for somebody to do that, get their mind off the bullshit, I think it does help with depression and a lot of things that have to do with the world just sucking more and more. One way to keep your mind off of that is the practice of creativity. You might be in the room, but you get to skyrocket to other planets using your imagination, painting on things, drawing. Sometimes it's cooking. Sometimes it's hairdressing. Simple tasks with your hands does a lot of mental good, benefit. Got to keep yourself healthy. Practice, practice, practice. Essential for getting better. Everyone makes bad art. You just don't see it on social media. We're only posting our best shit. We rarely see our frustrations and our struggles. But I'm going to share that with you in the videos. I'm going to be honest on the process. When I'm struggling, you guys will know about it. But moving on. I'm not really selling anything. I don't have a store. Just trying to share information around the world. You don't have to click any links. I'm not sponsored by anybody right now. Maybe that'll change. I don't even have a website. Just making YouTube videos, teaching people how to be creative, hanging out. Maybe I'll come up with some contests and giveaways, but right now we're just going to do something simple. So the first way I would start out if I wanted to learn how to spray paint is put somebody through line drills. And that's basically just trying to achieve a line without drips, without wavering widths in the line. You want to keep the same width, unless you're trying to do dagger strokes, which are a little different, like fur. This kind of practice, it's not just for your mental state to learn, how the spray paint works and to get familiar with it, but it's also muscle memory. Teaching your hand how to respond to the spray paint, how to control the can. It might seem boring to do some of these things, but you're teaching your hand how to work, and that hand-eye coordination is key. So in order to build it from a bare bone minimum, line drills, shading, trying to color in shapes without going outside the lines or a ton of overspray. These are the basic things you want to master before you go out there and try to start tag your name or do art. So I got a couple different spray paints here I just pulled out of the aerosol arsenal. I got locked up. Now there's some random colors here. Got a couple different products. These are all ironlaks that I got from Hobby Lobby. I like to just go in there and clean off the shelves, and they look at me like I'm some kind of vandal. Murals with a lot of colors, need a lot of paint. Shopping carts full of them, actually. What do we got here? Gatorade, we're not going to paint with that. We're going to put that off to the side for hydration. We got some Rusto here. This is flat black primer. I'll show you how that sprays. These are just to show you the difference. This is the spray paint we'll be using, and it's acrylic spray paint, UV resistant, vibrant finish, superior coverage. So quality spray paint is how well it covers, how opaque it is. You can't see the stuff underneath it. They also make transparent paints, but those are a little bit more advanced and meant for layering, and we'll get those. We'll get to those some other time. Aside from that, we're gonna have some acetone. Acetone is key for cleaning out your caps because sometimes the paint dries on the tip, and if you don't have any acetone to clean that out with, that cap is toast. I said we have the $2.99 little cap pack from Hobby Lobby right next to the spray paint. So if you look around, you try to be able to find those. Got a bag of random caps that go some male, some female. For those who don't know, this is a female can, mostly European cans like MT94s, Montana Golds, Molotov, Dang. Yeah, they all have these. And for the most part, the caps are universal. Like I should be able to put these on top of a Montana Gold and it should work just fine. Now, when you get over to these Rust-Oleums, these are male. See that? So that these caps cannot interchange between the European cans. They do make an adapter that fits on top of there, and you can put all these caps on top of a Rust-Oleum if you buy that adapter. It's got like a little 2-finger wing you press down. That still works pretty good. It's not as good as just a European can. It's better than just using the stock cap because the stock caps are garbage. Come out real fast. You need that. You're gonna need a canvas board here, something to practice on. I'm not gonna prime this or anything. If we were making some art, we'd probably put some primer on it before we start spray painting. But we're just going to be doing some line drills. So I got that for easel. I'm just using a sheetrock cart that I got at a garage sale down the road for $50. And then for our camera stand, we have a Joby and a speaker stand. Get some. So I'm busting open this ironlak black right now, matte black. These come with a cap on them still, so you can stack them up and they don't spray. Just take that off. Get rid of your price tag. These ones, when you take the cap off, some of them have a donut in here that keeps you from compressing on the cap, but that's what this thing is for. Some have these and some have the donut. You want to shake your spray paint for a good while, not just a couple like this. First there's a steel ball in here, and sometimes, like right now, you can't hear it. Sometimes you have to break that free and make sure that that's moving around in your can. So sometimes you just hit it on the palm of your hand like this and it'll break that free. There you go. Now you hear it. Oh, where'd it go? It just got stuck there. That means there's a bunch of thick paint at the bottom of this. And when I shook it, it got stuck in that thick paint. And then it wouldn't break loose again. So that lets me know that this paint is really not mixed. So I got to shake it really good. Try to get that ball loose again. There we go. Oh, no, that's not true. I mean, that does happen, but I realized just now I left magnets on the bottom of them. Well, why'd you do that, Kriztix? Well, when you're sneaking around in the dark in the alleyways and you have a backpack of this stuff on, it makes a lot of noise. But if you put a magnet on the bottom, these balls inside are steel. So sometimes it takes a minute to catch, but if you get the ball at the bottom, see, now, and then this is kind of like the motion it would make when you're like jogging or running or trying to get away from the onlookers. Police. Then you don't want to make a lot of noise because they can hear you. They can spot you, blowing your cover. That's a little tip right there that you get to learn accidentally. Because I'm like, oh, I got to shake it, but no. All right, we're going to give this a good shake for about 30 seconds. I just want to show off my biceps with my sleeveless shirt, dude. No, it's pretty hot out here, actually. little warm state here in upstate New York. So here's the black. What you want to do, I'm left-handed, so I'm going to bring you over here on my right side so you can see. So when you're spraying, this is a standard cap. We're going to start with the standard white dot. When you spray, you're going to want to like kind of move your whole arm first side to side, you know, and you're going to want to do a couple lines side to side. Now, the trick is to kind of start your hand in motion where your line is going to be. And as you're moving the can, then press down on the cap. And then when you're done with your line, let go and keep following through. This is going to ensure that you don't get two dots on either side. Now, if I don't do that, watch what happens. You'll see you got two big dots right here. And that's because more paint accumulated there because I wasn't in a motion when I started the line. Now, if I start the motion with my body in the middle of that stroke, then there shouldn't be any dots on the two ends. And I'm going to try to do that now. Sometimes you want to practice your lines. You want to kind of like do this so you get the muscle memory. And then like by the third or fourth time when you're comfortable with it, then pull the trigger, do your line. But let's see without the two dots. See that? Now on this one, there's no two dots. Okay. A little bit of overspray on it. It's a little soft here. Let me try to bring it closer so you can see. Now, when I'm talking about graininess, I'm talking about this on the edge here. See how that's not a crisp line as if you were to tape it, but you do get a little bit of overspray. That's actually not bad with the ironlaks. I'm going to do the white now so you can see the difference between black and white and their graininess. I usually get cleaner lines with black. We'll try the white now. Basic cap still. I haven't changed the cap out yet. We're still using the stock. Sometimes you get there's like a solution in there. You want to keep it upside down and then spray it. And that gets all that crap out of there. All right. This actually isn't shaking up enough. As you can see, it's kind of cool in there. So I'm going to shake it a little bit more. When you're doing these line drills, you want to do a bunch of them. Your hand is learning how to do these straight lines. And at first you might not get straight lines, but you want to keep doing it until you're comfortable with that motion. And the more you do it, the more you're programming it into your brain, and you can pull those tricks up out on the fly. A couple things you want to pay attention to. Distance between the cap and the surface, meaning you want to be about 6 to 8 inches away when you're spraying. If you want a bigger line, you pull back. That makes a bigger radius. If you want a smaller line, you go forward. Smaller lines. But here's the thing. You need hand speed if you're going to go up close. Because if you go slow and you're close, what's going to happen is it drips. This isn't a prime surface, so it's actually not. Yeah, see, now it's starting to drip. And if you go fast, that's how you get the cleaner line when you're up close. Now, I'm only about 2 inches away when I do this. All right, now I'm going to illustrate a bigger line by pulling back. Hopefully I can get the motion. Ready? Now, yeah, that one's rough. Hold on. There we go. Well, you can see in order to get the bigger lines, you have to pull back more. So when I'm doing big lines, I'm about probably 8 to 10 inches back. A standard line, I'm about 4 to 6 inches back. And when I get up close, sometimes I'm right up in there, depending. You know, when you're up here, you got to be like. And that's what you're going to do over and over to teach yourself. These are the line drills. Sometimes I'll do this before I start a mural, so my hand is nice and warmed up. So then when you're done doing that, you want to go up and down. You know, try to get bigger with the same one. You got to slow down. Now see that happened because my finger was in the way. So I had it like that. See a little white dip there? That's why that spatter happened. So got to keep my finger back on it. Do some smaller lines. All right, so I want to talk about can control now. So how to get cleaner lines on one side. So can control, let's switch out to the black. Can control, okay, if I want a clean line on the left side, and say I'm filling in a shape on my right side, say this is a black shape here, right? Let's say we do a shape, right? And let's say that it's something like this. Now, this still needs to be filled in, but I want, this is a different color, so I want this to be sharper. And now I'm going to fill in close to this line. When I mean can control, see that arrow right there? That's where the spray comes out. I don't want any paint over here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my can so it's this way. So all overspray that hits this surface is going to go this way into the shape and not over here over to the area where I don't want that paint. So let me try to fill this in, and I'm going to turn it so this stays clean over here. And this is can control right here, so you don't get overspray in areas you don't want to. You know, and let's say there's a window here and it's a building. I won't even have to tape off sometimes because I have enough can control where I can just rotate it and I can go right up to the line. See how that's a lot cleaner and there's a lot more overspray over here? That's how you get those crisp lines on graffiti. Let's do a couple more of these. Let's go diagonal. All these motions help your hand, remember? Yeah, remember? America? Then you're going to want to do some shapes. Once you get the lines down, we'll make some shapes and then we'll practice coloring those in. Now, when you're making a shape, you want it to be a quick motion. You don't want to like lollygag when you're going to turn your corner. So check it out. Oh, see, I got a drip there. So instead of doing that, we're going to stop at the end of that line and start a new one. See what I mean? That way you don't have these obnoxious drips coming off the line, whereas if you just change directions, you're going to get a drip there. Then to fill in, we're going to use our cap control, our can control rather. And then as I get to this corner, I don't want any down here, so what I'm going to do is actually start to rotate my can so that it's actually in this little tiny point, painting this way, and the fan kind of replicates that shape. So check it out. And I'll actually start here and drag it back to those points sometimes if they're really tight. And you see how I'm like moving my hand all over the place to make sure I don't get any overspray on the outside of the shape? That was a nice thick one there. And at the end, you got to kind of flare there and pick up your velocity in order to get those sharper. And that's how you do shape building, and do circles, rectangles. But now my points are kind of dull, so I'm going to sharpen them up by kind of a dagger, not really a dagger stroke, but just kind of like pulling them to a V. This is how you practice. This is how you're going to get the basics down, and you're going to be able to teach your hand and your brain how to communicate with each other. All right, here's the package I ripped over like an animal. Which one are we looking for again? We're looking for, let's do the fat one here. An ultra-wide chisel nozzle with adjustable fan angles for more creative control. Gives the user the ability to create thick or thin lines. All right, so we'll use this, pop this one right off, just pull up, add that one on there, kind of snug it, don't press too hard, you're gonna paint. Give it a little, all right, let's see what this one looks like. Oh yeah, that's a fan, dude. Ready? That's how you get these flares. Ready? See that nice flare? All right. But this way, you get a thin one because it's flat this way, fanned that way. That's that bigger cap out of the mix. We're gonna make some clean graffiti lines, showing the difference between black and white, the difference between the spray. We're going to use some fancy nozzles here we got from Ironlak, the Hobby Lobby. And we're going to go from skinniest to fattest. So we're going to start with this blue one here. Comes fitted to Ironlak sugar. We're not using Ironlak sugar. A super skinny nozzle for finest of detailing. So Ironlak sugar is a no odor spray paint. It's more for using indoors, and it has really low air pressure, so those particles don't really travel in the air as much as these standard ironlaks do. Let's open this up. Kind of hard to do with one hand. It's amazing the things you can do when you have two hands. Childproof. I think that was the one I needed. That's how I rip everything open like an animal. Another exercise that we can start doing is dot making. So you want to be able to do just a dot. Oh, that's a fan. Haha, it's so cool when you paint it by itself. It makes like this little S thing. All right, let's switch that out. Put the stock cap back on. So dots. Ready? What? You know, that was kind of tilted this way. That's why I got that. You want to be square. Straight at it. Boom. The closer you are, smaller the dot. The farther you are, bigger the dot. More paint you got to use. You want to practice making different sized dot. If you're doing this and you're dripping, ooh. Look at that little thing. Such a cute little drip. But if you get that effect, then you are pressing too much paint in a little area, so you got to be quicker with your dots. Okay, you want them to look something like that. Switching to the white. The last line I want to show you is a dagger stroke. There's two ways to do them. You can do them from big to small or small to big. Dagger stroke is like those hair follicles. Remember how they go from a thick down to a point? So what you're doing is you're actually, when you do a dagger stroke, that looks like, let me just do one for you. See how these come to a point? I can actually do better than that. Ooh, got my finger in it there. There we go. That's a good one. That's what I wanted. It's nice and small down here, nice and thick over here. Sometimes I got to practice too. I don't always make these lines. There you go. There's a good one. Oop. All right, practice some dagger strokes. Once you have those fundamentals down, we're gonna do a little tag. See if we can write some letters without dripping. And that's the idea. Sometimes you want to drip. Some artists make paintings that are dripping all over. They intended to do that, or they're just working with the accent. It's art. We do whatever we want to do. There is no right or wrong way to do it. You can come up with new techniques, call them your own. Don't let anybody bash you and tell you, oh, you got to do it this way. You should be able to practice these lines and achieve them, but you don't always have to use them. So there's your basic line drills. Now we're switching over to Van's Kryptonite. Let's go with the fattest nozzle here. What do we got? Got the next one down. The most versatile extra fat nozzle capable of extremely high output to quickly cover large areas. Line width approximately 6.5 inches. Take some of this Kryptonite. Pop that tap off. Goo. Look at this. This standard cap is all messed up, so let me show you how I clean that. Come over here. See this acetone? Just simply put it on top. Give it a little, oh yeah, blow all that paint right out of there. And look, it still looks like garbage, but there's a little hole at least where spray paint can come out. Or you can just wipe it off with a towel. But I am lazy. To the task at hand. You guys are always getting sidetracked with your damn ADD. All right. Where were we? Okay, so this blue cap is the one we were talking about. Most versatile fat cap with a black dot. So let's put this on the spray paint. Okay, we'll shake it up. Always shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Like a Polaroid picture. All right, so we're doing a big area. So this is going to come out, you know, nice and wide. And that's good for filling in shapes. So let's fill in a shape. Let's do the letter K for my name, Kriztix. All right, so to do a letter, you know, sometimes I just sketch the letter out. Oh yeah, that's nice and wide. Ooh yeah. Forgot to tip it upside down. Okay, let's try that again. So I'll sketch the letter out. Oh, that's a huge spray. I love it. It's nice and rich. Oh, that's great. Boom. So we have that. Now I'm going to kind of make it shape it up a little. Boom, give it a little flair. If it's soaking in like that, let it be. If you get it too wet, it'll start dripping. This isn't primed, remember. The surface, I mean. If it's primed, it doesn't. This means the wood's thirsty. If you don't put primer on wood, it makes the wood thirsty. It drinks the paint up like that. All right, put a little doodad there. Put a little doodad. We'll make this nice and thick in the interest of using a fat cat. Oh yeah, that does fill in colors nice. It's like an upside down question mark. Don't even ask me what that is. Okay. A little bit more there where it was thirsty. All right. All right, see? A lot of overspray though. A lot of overspray on the big old cats. See if that gets any better if I angle it. Can't control it. Angle it that way. Oh yeah, look how clean that is. No green paint. That's the white from before. Cool. All right, let's line this on something. Let's put a smaller cap on, the black, and then we'll line it out. So let's get our smallest one, just so you can kind of get the idea for how big in variation these sprays are. All right, so it's going to be that weird shaped one, which is going to look like one of these guys. All right, they say that the green one is for sugar, so this pink one is the next size. You know? Hit it with some cool little doodads. Boom, boom. All right, there you have it. I might not have made you the best art here, but at least I think I illustrated the technique that you need to train yourselves. Apparently, I need some more training to make some clean, crisp lines. And you know, you're gonna get better and better at that. Just keep practicing. I have to do a lot of this practice because I got a school bus mural that I'm doing, and there's a lot of curvature. You know, there's like rivets and these bumpers on the side of the bus, and instead of being able to keep my hand still, you know, while I do straight lines, I have to like almost move with the curvature of the bus in order to keep that line straight, readable. So yeah, practice these techniques, and I'm sure that you'll be going in no time. I would just plug away at it, and then you'll be able to just start freestyling. You don't have to think about it too much. It will just start coming naturally to you, and you start grabbing colors, mixing them, trying different things. So yeah, have fun with that. So just to recap, all you aspiring graffitists, I just learned that was a word today. Graffitist, graffitist, tagger, vandal, defacer, desecrator, wrecker, demolisher, waster, or a looter are common synonyms for graffitist in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Yeah, they hold us in high regard around here. Love it. Anyway, while you're out there breaking the law, remember to practice your tricks and tips so you don't look like a toy when you do it. You don't want to be out there painting shit. because then you're just a clown. Why would you paint a building just to make it look like garbage? Put a little pride in your work. Next thing you know, you'll be putting out masterpieces like this. So just to recap what we learned here today, graffiti lines, we ain't just grabbing a can and doing that. We put some work into that. The preparation goes into getting them clean lines. You need the right caps. You need the right spray paint. You need the right can control. You need the right trigger pressure. You need the right distance from the canvas. You need all these things to get clean lines. Oh, and hand speed. You need good hand speed. That gets them small lines. You need good controlled. The thing hard about slow speed is it's hard to get the same, you want to vary. You want wavering lines. Woo. These are called flares. And you make them bigger and smaller. So all these things. Some practice. You need some practice material. So you're not doing nice canvases because canvases could get expensive. You want a drop cloth. I'm on grass here, but this is just to illustrate to you dirty little kids that you don't want to be messing up your parents' floor, because then they're going to think you're a looter. Nobody wants to be that. So use a drop cloth or you're a vandal. Last thing I'm going to show you here is the difference between that and like Krylon. Okay, we're going to try to make some lines with some Krylon, and you can still do it, but it's a lot different. Gonna really shake this up. This is Color Max Paint Plus Primer Gloss Emerald Green. I'll try to put some shadows in this K and see how that works out. I was almost sprayed your camera with green stuff. So a couple things about Krylon. See how wavy that line is and how transparent that paint is? If this was ironlak, you would even be able to see this black line underneath this green line, because that's the amount of pigment in the paint. Cheap paints have not a lot of pigment in them. So, you might see the undertones that you're painting on, any details that are under them. Same here. See, that spray is completely inconsistent. It's totally dark on this side, completely light on that side. All right, there's a lot less control in the can. You can see I was really short with my size because there's almost a delay. It's a lot harder trigger. You only have to feather these to get paint come out, and you can feel all that difference in your finger. But pressing on these is it's like a one speed button. Go. There is no difference in feathering. Like when I say feather, you can just lightly touch that for like less pressure. Whoa, not like that. That's the fat cap. See how under that paint you can't really see that green paint? It's because there's a lot of pigment in there. I don't recommend trying to use cheap spray paints for that. I mean, if you're trying to cover a big area with paint, maybe, but like I said, you're only saving $1 a can. So, order them online. Or I like to order Montana Golds because just the spray is great, the color is vibrant, and that's what I use for my murals, and that's what I'll be using for the one coming up on the school bus. All right, I'm Kriztix, muralist, illustrator from Troy, New York. Look, I'm not selling you anything. You go on to my like button. Don't be going out there and smashing it. It's all love in here. It's all creativity. I want you to nestle up to it, finesse it, love it. Love the like button. And go follow my Instagram. That's the only thing I'm pushing right now. I just want more of an audience to learn these tricks and tips, so they can go out and be creative too without frustration and not knowing what they're doing. Just trying to make people more aware of the knowledge that I've learned over 40 years. Holy shit. 2 weeks, I'm 40, kids. Can't be out there in them streets no more. All right, so go to my Instagram at Kriztix, Kriztix. Send me a DM for murals, illustrations, private lessons, whatever you want. I'm here for you. All right, I'm gonna paint this thing up now. Enjoy.